Racing fans, welcome to another episode of the big Group 1 racing show for the racing season of 2016/17. Now in today's episode, episode 15, I'll preview the final Group 1 race of 2016, and that is the Kingston Town Classic. It's the final Group 1 of the Ascot Racing Carnival. It's a great field of 16 horses. So let's not muck around, let's get straight into it. So the Group 1 Peters Investments Kingston Town Classic will be ran over the 1800 metre journey on Saturday the 3rd of December. The race will start at 5 p.m, that's 8 p.m. in Victoria, New South Wales and Tasmanian time. Of course, the race will be ran at the Ascot Racecourse as part of the Ascot Racing Carnival. You can watch all the action on Sky Thoroughbred Central and Sky Racing 1. It's a field of 16 horses. Let's get straight into having a look at the field. Perfect Reflection, the favourite for the Railway Stakes, is also the favourite for this race at $4.20. The Railway Stakes winner of 2016, Scales of Justice, is second best at $6. K-Way is at $5.50. Tradesman at $11. Stratum Star at $13. Vanbrugh is at $15. Macintosh at $16, as well as Good Project and Disposition. He or She at $34. Bass Straight at $51. Isahim is at $51 as well. Heart Starter is at $61, as well as Neverland. And then finally we have Dubai Escaped and also Tick Tick Bloom to round out the field there, both on $201. That is the largest odds out of this entire field. So that is the field for the 2016 Kingston Town Classic. Let's now have a look at the field in depth. Number 1 in the field, we have a Chris Waller trained horse in Good Project, who came 7th 2 starts back in the Group 1 Cantella Stakes over the 1600 metre journey at Flemington on Derby Day. Came 2nd in the Railway Stakes last start here at Ascot. Of course, Huey Bowman will take the ride once again. It's coming out of barrier 5. It hasn't won over the 1800 metre distance before, so it needs to be at its best. If it can do that, then it's definitely going to crack the top 5 in this race. Number 2, It's a Him, coming out of barrier 13, has a win range of 1200 metres to 2200 metres, came 6 2 starts back at Ascot, and then last start came 3rd out of the 11 horse field in the Northam Cup over the 1600 metre journey. I think this will be a much tougher race though than its previous 2. It's no doubt about that, so I can't really see this horse being up the front. Number 3, we have Stratum Star. It came 2nd in the Sandown Stakes not too long ago, just a few weeks ago now, which was very surprising. It was actually a good run from this horse. However, it hasn't won a race since October 2015. That was over a year ago now, so it has been a while since this horse has won, and it doesn't really win too often. It hasn't run and won at the 1800 metre distance, which is a bit of a concern for me. It's coming out of barrier 1. Damien Lane is aboard this horse for this race. I'm actually going to pass on this horse. I know this horse is backed by the punters at $13, but I can't see it being up there in the top 5 in my opinion. I think it's going to be well back. Number 4, we have a New Zealand horse in Cowie. Michael Walker is aboard as the jockey. Barrier 4 is its barrier for the Kingston Town Classic. It came 6th in the Railway Stakes. Not a bad effort from this horse. Of course, 4th 2 starts back at Ascot in its first run at the race course. It's had some good form over in New Zealand before coming to Australia. I am predicting that it will settle in the first 5 front runners of the race earlier on. If it can stay up there, it's definitely no doubt a chance. It's about 3rd favourite in the race. Number 5 is Disposition. It is a Grant and Alana Williams trained horse with Glenn Smith on board as the jockey. Barrier 8 is its barrier. Definitely a better barrier than the barrier 19 it ran from in the Railway Stakes, where it came 11th out of the 16 horse field over the 1600 metre journey. It hasn't won past the 1400 metre distance, which is a bit of a concern. Although it draws a better barrier, I think it's a bit of an outside chance in my opinion. Of course, it is backed by the punters at about $19 or so. Number 6 is He or She, coming back after a 9th place in the Railway Stakes last start of the 1600 metre journey. Has barrier 14 for the Kingston Town Classic. It was a little bit disappointing in the Railway, I must be honest, but I'm going to forgive it because it does have some good form at Ascot, and it is capable of doing much better. We've already seen that in the past. It hasn't won over the 1800 metre journey. That is a little bit of a concern. It's out to about $40 odds, which is very, very interesting, and you could get some value if this horse was able to get up. But of course, last run was disappointing in the Railway Stakes. I am going to forgive it, and I'm going to give it a bit of a crack. I think it is capable of placing, if not a top 5 finish. I think so. Number 7 is Dubai Escapade, coming out of barrier 6 for this race. Ben Kennedy is aboard with that 59 kilograms, and of course coming into this race with a 11th place from the Ascot Gold Cup. That was in fact over the 1800 metre distance. Has a win range of 1400 metres to 3200 metres. This is a very long shot horse though, I think, and I think this horse might find this race quite tough. Number 8 is Bass Strait. It's come 2nd in its last 2 starts. This race a lot tougher than those last 2 races though, it's no doubt about that. It does have a win range of 1300 metres to 1700 metres. Coming out of barrier 11, I think I'm going to pass on this occasion. Number 9 is Tradesman. Dwayne Dunn takes the ride for this race. It's coming out of barrier 9, has a win range of 1100 metres to 2000 metres. It's coming off a 5th in the Railway Stakes, which wasn't a bad effort. It was able to get midfield in that race, which was very pleasing. It should be among the chances, no doubt about that, and it should be among the horses early. It should be among the front runners early in the race. Number 10 is Scales of Justice. Won the Railway Stakes of 2016 a couple of weeks ago. Of course, the first Group 1 of the Ascot Racing Carnival. Coming out of barrier 16, it's come first in its last 3 races. It's in some good form coming into this one, and well, it is stepping up to the 1800 metres, but it loves Ascot, and there's no reason why you shouldn't not put it amongst the chances. It's definitely among the top 5, no question about it. Number 11 is Vanbrugh. Of course, it's coming off a 6th place in the Emirates Stakes on the last day of the Flemington Carnival. That was out of 12 horses. Chris Waller trained horse, of course. Coming out of barrier 7. Has won at this distance before. You can't go past that factor. It is its first time at Ascot, but I tell you what, if it puts in a good race, I think this horse is definitely a chance to crack the top 5, possibly the top 3. It is backed by the punters at about $15. I think it's a roughie to look at. Number 12 is Macintosh. I did tip this horse to win the Railway Stakes. It ended up coming 4th out of the 16 horse field. Damien Oliver maintains the ride. It's a Chris Waller trained horse coming out of barrier 10. It still had some great form, of course. It has the win range. You can't go past this horse and not put it among the chances. I think it's going to be up there. It should be leading early, and it could be hard to catch. Number 13 is Heart Starter. It came 7th in the Railway Stakes. It's got a win range of 1400 to 1800 metres. Coming out of barrier 12. Peter Hall is aboard It isn't out of this at all, no doubt about it, considering its form that it's produced at Ascot in the past, but I'm prepared to leave out. I think there's a lot more competitive horses in this field than this horse. Number 14 is Neverland, another Grant and Alana Williams trained horse coming out of barrier 3, has a win range of 1400 metres to 1500 metres, 12th in the Railway Stakes a couple of weeks ago. Wasn't a particularly good ride, to be honest, and the form before that isn't quite good as well, so I have my doubts. Number 15, Tick Tick Bloom, coming out of barrier 15, came second last in the Railway Stakes. It didn't really work out that race for this horse, and because of that I have my doubts about this horse as well. And then finally we have number 16, the favourite, Perfect Reflection, another Grant and Alana Williams trained horse. William Pike takes the ride, as he did in the Kingston Town Classic last year, where this horse actually won that race. So it's coming back for back-to-back Kingston Town Classics. It's coming out of barrier 2. It came third in the Railway Stakes. I think that's a very, very good preparation coming into this race. It's a favourite for a reason, and it's definitely going to be up there. I'm definitely going to be placing it in my top 3. Okay, so that is the field. Now time to get into my tips, and I start with my first placed horse, and that is the favourite, Perfect Reflection. In my opinion, I don't think you can go past this horse. It came third in the Railway Stakes. It was good preparation, I reckon, for this race, and of course it won this race last year. It's coming back for another shot at it, and well, I love its form coming into this one. Of course, it loves Ascot. In my opinion, you can't go past Perfect Reflection, so that's why I'm tipping it as my winner for the Kingston Town Classic. I then go to my second placed horse, and that is Scales of Justice. This horse too is in terrific form, had a great ride over the 1600 metres in the Railway Stakes, where of course won that race. It's coming out of barrier 16. It's not that barrier 8 that it's had for its last 3 starts, but geez, it loves Ascot as well, and in my opinion I couldn't go past this horse in terms of slotting it inside the top 3. So Scales of Justice second for me. And then third, I have gone Macintosh. I tipped it to win the Railway Stakes. It didn't quite pan out that way. It's still in great form though. It came 4th in that race. It has won at these longer distances before. Like I said, if it of course plays out as one of the front runners early, which of course the speed map is predicting, then it could be hard to beat. But I think it will be caught by the two favourites, Perfect Reflection and Scales of Justice, and I think it will slot in at 3rd place. So that is my tips. It's time to get in now to my roughie of the race. And I've decided to go Vanbrugh as my roughie of the race for the Kingston Town Classic over the 1800 metre journey. I like its form over this type of distance, so because of that, I think at the odds at its course, it's coming to Ascot for the first time. That's the only worry, but I think it might do fine, and I think it is a horse to watch. I think if you want $1 each way bet, or a couple of dollars each way on a horse, a roughie, I think this one might be your horse. Vanbrugh, my roughie of the race. And that is it for this episode of the Big Group 1 Racing Show. And in fact, that is it for this show in 2016. I won't be back with this show until next year when Group 1 Racing returns with the Orr Stakes at Caulfield. That will be in the early parts of February. Of course, don't forget to like, comment and share this video. Subscribe, because even though this show is going into a couple of months rest, I will be doing other content. I'll be doing some other sport content, cricket, Sydney to Hobart, a couple of other things as well. Of course, I'll be doing some other horse racing content in terms of Tassie horse racing. So if you want to keep up to date with the Tasmanian Summer Racing Carnival, then do press that subscribe button and make sure you're getting notifications to when I upload a video. So until next February, I'm Jacob. Hope you're back a winner this Saturday. Bye for now.